Here comes Lean Jack. Here comes Bare Bones. Ah, my sweet creature of bombast. How long is it ago, Jack, since thou sawest thy knee?
My own knee? When I was about thy years, Hal, I was not an eagle's talon in the waist. I could have crept into any alderman's thumb ring. A plague of sighing and grief. It blows a man up like a bladder. There's a villainous news around abroad. Here was Sir John's bracing from your father. You must to the court in the morning. That same mad fellow up in the north, Percy, and he of Wales that gave Aman the bastinado that made Lucifer cuckold, and swore the devil his true liegeman upon the cross of a Welsh hook. What a plague call you him?
Owen Glendower.
Owen, the same, and his son-in-law Mortimer, in old North Lumber, and that sprightly Scot of Scots, Douglas, that runs a horseback up a hill perpendicular.
He that rides at high speed and with his pistol kills a sparrow flying.
You have hit it.
So, did he never hit the sparrow?
Well, that rascal hath good mettle in him. He will not run.
Why then, it is like if there come a hot June, and this civil buffeting hold, we shall buy maidenheads as they buy hobnails by the hundreds.
By the mass, thou sayest true. It is like we shall have good trading that way. But tell me, Hull, art thou not horribly afeared? Though being heir apparent, could the world pick thee out 3 such enemies again as the fiend Douglas, the spirit Percy, and the devil Glendower? Art thou not horribly afraid? Doth not thy blood thrill at it?
Not a whit, I faith. I lack some of thy instinct.
Well, thou wert to be horribly chid tomorrow when thou comest to thy father. If thou love me, practice an answer.
Do thou stand for my father and examine me upon the particulars of my life?
Shall I? Contend. This chair shall be my state, this dagger my scepter, and this cushion my crown.
The state is taken for a joined stool, thy golden scepter for a leaden dagger, and thy precious rich crown for a pitiful bauble.
Well, and the fire of grace be not quite out of thee. Now shalt thou be moved. Give me a cup of sack to make my eyes look red, that it may be thought I have wept. For I must speak in passion, and I will do it in King Cambyses' vein.
Well, here is my leg.
And here is my speech. Stand aside, nobility.
O Jesu, this excellent sport faith.
Weep not, sweet queen, for trickling tears are vain.
O the Father, how he holds his countenance.
For God's sake, lords, convey my tristful queen, for tears do not stop the floodgates of her eyes.
O Jesu, he doth it as like one of these heartly players as I ever see.
Peace, good pinpot. Peace, good trickle brain. Harry, I do not only marvel where thou spendest thy time, but also how thou art my companion. For though on the camomile, where it is more trodden on, the faster it grows, so youth, the more it is wasted, the sooner it wears. That thou art my son, I have partly thy mother's word, partly my own opinion, but chiefly a villainous trick of thine eye, and foolish hanging of thy nether lip that doth warrant me. If then thou be son to me, here lies the point. Why, being son to me, art thou so pointed at? Shall the blessed Son of Heaven prove a mitcher and eat blackberries? A question not to be asked. Shall the Son of England prove a thief and take purses? A question to be asked. Here's the thing, Harry, which thou hast often heard of, and it is known to many in our land by the name of pitch. This pitch, as ancient writers do report, doth defile, so doth the company thou keep. For Harry, I do not speak to thee in drink, but in tears, not in pleasure, but in passion, not in words only, but in woes also. Yet there is a virtuous man who I am noted in thy company, but I know not his name.
What manner of a man, and it like your majesty?
A good portly man, I faith, and a culprit, of a cheery look, a pleasing eye, and a most noble carriage. And as I think, his age some 50 or by a lady, inclining to 80, and now I remember me. His name is Falstaff. If that man should be lewdly given, he deceiveth me, for, Harry, I see virtue in his looks. If then the tree may be known by the fruit, as the fruit by the tree, then peremptorily I speak it. There is virtue in that, Falstaff. Him keep with, the rest banish. And tell me now, thou naughty varlet, tell me, where hast thou been this month?
Dost thou speak like a king? Do thou stand for me, and I'll play my father.
Dispose me? If thou does it in half, so gravely, so majestically, both in word and in manner, hang me up by the heels for a rabbit, sucker or a poulter's hair.
Well, here I am set.
And here I stand, judge my masters.
Now, Harry, whence come you?
My noble lord, from East Cheek.
The complaints I hear of thee are grievous.
Blood, my lord, they are false. Nay, I'll take you for a young prince, I faith.
Swearest thou, ungracious boy? Henceforth never look on me. Thou art violently carried away from grace. There's a devil haunts thee in the likeness of an old fat man. A ton of a man is thy companion. Why dost thou converse with that trunk of humors, that bolting hutch of beastliness, that swollen parcel of dropsies, that huge bombard of sack, that stuffed cloak bag of guts, that roasted manning tree ox with a pudding in his belly? That reverend vice, that gray inequity, that father ruffian, the vanity in years? Wherein is he good but to taste sack and drink it? Wherein neat and clearly but to carve a cape and eat it? Wherein cunning but in craft? Wherein crafty but in villainy? Wherein villainous but in all things? Wherein worthy but in nothing?
I would, your grace, would take me with you. Who means, your grace?
That villainous abominable misleader of youth Falstaff, that old white-bearded Satan.
My lord, the man I know.
I know thou dost.
But to say I know more harm in him than I in myself, were to say more than I know. That he is old, the more the pity, his white hairs do witness it. But that he is, saying your reverence, a whoremaster, that I utterly deny. If sack and sugar be a fault, God help the wicked. If to be old and merry be a sin, then many old hosts that I know is damned. If to be fat, to be hated, then fair, lean, kind, to be loved. My good lord, no, banish pedo, banish Barloff, banish Poins, but for sweet Jack Falstaff, kind Jack Falstaff, true Jack Falstaff, valiant Jack Falstaff, and therefore more a valiant being, he is old Jack Falstaff. Banish him not, thy Harry's companion. Banish not him, thy Harry's companion. Banish plump Jack, and banish all the world.
I do.